Hey, what's up everyone? Mendel here. Hope you're all doing awesome and wonderful, and Happy New Year, because this is the first video that I'm actually talking to you guys of this year. And also major thanks for liking my previous video, the Returnal playthrough. Truly means a lot. So I'm currently working on, I wouldn't say new material, but refreshing material, or refresh, I'm not even sure what I mean. So what I'm currently working on between work is I'm rewriting my first solo album. So my first solo album got released over 10 years ago. It was called Subliminal Colors, was released in 2012. And to celebrate that album, I wanted to do something different than a simple remix and remaster. More like a sort of rewrite or an updated version in the terms of how I have grown slash changed as a songwriter and musician, and looking back to that material, what would I change and hopefully improve. And instead of doing that off camera and all in my closed hair with the lights on, the colorful lights on, which I love, but I thought it would be cool to just share as much as I can of that process, of that looking back at things and then changing them, how I think it would improve the song or make the song different. You could basically see it like a revision of the entire album, like from someone who has grown 10 years and then changes thing of it. So this is the song called Releasing Butterflies from that album. It was track 6 of that album, and it was one of the tracks where I was most eager of changing things. And I'll make multiple videos about this, about different tracks, because I would just want to showcase this whole entire process. Oh, by the way, talk about tone. So this is a Road King 2 capture I made on the Quad Cortex with the settings from John Petrucci from 2004, because that's when he used that amp as well. And I like these settings. It's a bit dark for my taste, but I brighten it up because when I made the capture, I used like an EQ, the Hammer DSP EQ, and it's a bit brighter than the original amp, but this is how I like it. Okay, so the first thing I changed was the intro. So this is the intro of the original. And I wasn't a big fan, or now I'm not a big fan of that drum roll. I thought it would be a cool to maybe make it a bit more straightforward and remove that kind of thing. So instead of this, I thought this would be cooler. A bit more straightforward. So again, this is the original. That's the new version. Now another thing I thought would be cool to make it a bit more interesting from a songwriting point of view. So the main riff goes like this. And then on the original I play, keeping that, even though it's a power chord, I still play the that's the whole thing. But on the new version, I thought it would be cool to play a bit more open, so it loses the staccato, because after this part, we go back to staccato. So instead of keeping the staccato here, I thought it would be cool to play it open. So again, instead of doing, I play. It gives me kind of a Dream Theater train of thought kind of vibe, which I love. Love that album. Now, also to make things shake up a bit more proggy, if I might say so, we have this middle part which just goes straight on the old version. So after that, keeps on going with the old riff. On the new version, I have like a kind of a fill kind of thing. Just to keep it a bit more in the flow. Now, a very big thing I changed or added, I might say, is around this middle part. Let me just find it. Yeah, so during this part, pay attention to the riff. So over there, I played. I thought it was a bit boring, because the whole song I'm doing that kind of thing, and then just doing. So here are the original guitars, so we can dive in a bit. So that's the thing I'm talking about. A bit boring, if I might say so. But on the new version, here's what I did. Just that. Just, it's a kind of Lamb of God-ish, I think. But I like that way more than. I think it's way more interesting to play. Throughout the past 10 years, I've noticed I've become a better rhythm player, especially listening to this part. So pay attention to the tightness of the riffing. So the down picks are pretty tight, but there's 5 notes in between. That. That thing. So that got improved in my opinion, listening to the new guitars. Right, so now comes probably my favorite part of the song, and there's a big change in orchestration on this part, and I'll make a separate video about that because that goes more in depth. But originally, when we focus a tiny bit on the orchestration, let me see where it is. So originally, I just had some pizzicato strings playing here. Some lines here, but mainly the pizzicato taking the upper hand. And I wanted this, instead of being like, if you're Dutch, you know, probably know André Rieu. Instead of that, because those pizzicato strings give me really that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 kind of quirky vibe. And I've dived in a lot of orchestration books and tutorials and that kind of stuff in the past 10 years. And I wanted to be a bit more emotional part. I'll do just a quick showcase because I'm going to dive into this in a separate video. But instead of those quirky 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it's now a bit more emotional, I think at least. So now we have this. That thing. But again, subscribe if you like this kind of stuff, because we're definitely going to dive into that. So solo wise, on the original, I thought it was kind of sort of boring, a bit perhaps a bit too straightforward. Let's take a listen to mainly the lead part. Although that solo part, those arpeggios, that's something I still love. Like this part. But my main focus is this part, so that thing, let's get the fret wrap. That thing also is really high from the get-go, and we already have, after that part, that whole tapping thing, which is pretty high. So now, listening back to it, I think it would be better to have perhaps a bit more stuff in the low register, and then let that arpeggio part really shine. So instead of having like high part and high arpeggio part, more like lower register part, and then for like on the emotional bass, have that arpeggio part be higher and shine more through, hopefully. So I have this melody in my head, something like that. So let's just try to record something and see if it's any good. Hopefully it's any good. So let's take a listen again. Yeah, I think it will fit. Let's just, before we record, first just play it. I really like this. And then that's cool. So that's cool, that those Marty Friedman hammer pull-offs. Something like that. Let's just record, because I will forget this idea. Let's slow it down a bit. I'm a bit ahead of the beat. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let's just try those arpeggios. I'll just do that so I have the idea, then on a different day I can come up with something different. Let's use the range tool. There we go. So it will punch in automatically. a bit. Okay, here we go. So what I'm thinking of doing is this. Or higher. But I'm also thinking now, from a songwriting point of view, of connecting this, something like that, to the note, because that's where the arpeggio starts. So let's do that. Take, or at least good enough for the demo. Okay. Let's listen. I'll dive more into this later. So another important thing, which is the last thing of this video that I changed. All right, so on the original, during this part, I did like heavy metal palm use. Let's first listen to the original. Here we go. Which goes something like. Right, but that also takes up a lot of room in the mix. So I thought, what can I do differently? So one thing I changed during that part was that same pizzicato thing, that like bloop, 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 that, where is it? Like this thing was going on there. That thing with the palm mutes. But I thought if I can do, let's do the strings, the heavy lifting there. So instead of doing just that, the plum, 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 more like something like this. And again, we'll dive more into strings later. But just do octaves. Just simply, instead of this, creates way more space, especially in the mix, but it sounds also a bit more muse. So this is the part. Just that, and together with the drums and all. To let the strings do the heavy lifting. Recorded those yet. But there's so much noise created by the guitars, and I thought this sounds a bit more mature. Alright, so that's it for now. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Do you like these kind of videos where I approach my songwriting approaches, if it makes any sense? But that kind of stuff, yeah. Let me know in the comments, and until then, see you next time. Cheers. And also, don't forget to subscribe, it's much appreciated. Cheers!